Hey everyone, this is Alex. Welcome back to my channel, Own Your Own Freedom. And this is yet another installment to my series on boundaries. And I think this is probably one of the most important ones that I will make because it is something that I personally struggle with and still struggle with right now. And it seems like a lot of people like myself, whether empaths or people who have been involved with toxic people or toxic relationships in their life, they struggle with it. What this aspect in particular, this is about time and who your time belongs to. So if you have been watching my videos for a while and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you will be there to see it and see the first viewing. So my time is my time, and your time is your time. Toxic people always have this particular way of maneuvering themselves deeper into your life, whether you invited them or not. Typically not. They are super presumptuous. They have no concept, or not no concept, because they know, like, if you don't have time for them, if you don't want to spend time with them, they know, they just don't care. So they don't really care about your boundaries or the desires of other people. They usurp positions in relationships and positions of ownership and aspects of your life by this way, by taking up your time. They manipulate conversations. They slither into significant relationships. They superimpose themselves on others. And one of the ways for them to do this, to affect you, is by stealing your time. If you can, and I say this to myself, and I say this secondarily to you, if you can put up and reinforce this particular boundary of time, with people, with all people, not just toxic people, but all people, you will save yourself a lot of stress and anxiety. Because people, the human condition, we were made to exist within a confine, within boundaries, right? Too much freedom, people get taken advantage of. The ideal would be between human beings, the relationship to be, I take care of your needs, you take care of mine. We look out for one another. We care for one another. That is ideal. But because we don't live in that reality and we don't live in that dynamic, it is even more important to set up boundaries, because everyone can find themselves taking advantage of someone else in some shape or fashion because of the lack of boundaries in someone. If you give someone an open door, they will walk through it. So just for an example, my narcissistic ex-boyfriend used to always arrive late to our dates or anytime we decided to meet up for something. This is despite knowing and despite me telling him that I had to leave for work early in the morning, or I had to meet someone, or I had things to do. He would deliberately show up late, and he would just waltz in, not really care that I was like, I have to go. I planned this. I planned my time. I had also a coworker that would talk almost nonstop to me. As soon as I walked through the door, it was like, I'm going to take up all of her time and spill out all of my drama and spill out all the things that I need and all my opinions and thoughts, probably because she had no one else to talk to. But either way, that's not what I'm here for. And despite how much I tried to get away from her and to find other things to do, it was like every time I had a break, every time I had a free moment, she was there to talk about everything. And she didn't care that I had places to be and things to do. Because I am an empath, I would forgive these people and people like them and other examples every time that these situations happened. I would forgive people who showed up late or who missed interviews or, who couldn't meet a deadline until after a certain time. And this is despite the fact that the toxic person or the person who violated my boundary or my limitation had nothing to get done. They had no other obligation. They just don't bother. And I would just forgive. But eventually I realized this mistake. I took ownership of my time. And I began reinforcing this particular boundary. My time is my time. Some people thought that I was being unreasonable, and some of my friends, still think sometimes I'm being unreasonable. Because if, for example, if they show up late, and I'm like, and maybe, if I say we're going to meet up at a certain time and they show up, an hour later, I'm gone by the time they arrive. And they're like, wait for me. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to wait for you. So some people think, that I'm being unreasonable. They might think you're being unreasonable. But that's usually the complaint of people who are used to taking advantage of your time. You must get over the hurdle of other people's objections and opinions. You must reinforce your boundaries. If someone shows up late for a date or calls you during work or keeps talking over you or talking while you're trying to leave them, say you have to go. Get up and leave. If they don't listen, just, okay, fine, and just walk away. And what happens if I don't? I guess that's the question some of us must have is, what if I don't reinforce my boundary? What if sometimes I just decide to be nice and allow them to, come and go as they please and just decide not to get offended? Because it's not coming from the true source within, because it's not coming from a true, a tolerance, it's just coming from trying to be nice, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your inner person. You're violating your own rights. And you are not sticking up for yourself, and you're reinforcing something that you probably were taught as a child, that your desires and your needs are not important. And they are. Your desire to sleep in when your friend wants to, leave early in the morning, and it's like, well, this is the only time I can pick up my car is early in the morning. Your desire to go to sleep, that is your desire, and you have the right to have that desire. Your desire for people to be on time when you say you're going to meet up somewhere, that's your desire. And you have the right to have that desire. Your desire for people to tell you ahead of time. This is sort of for me. Tell me ahead of time when you want to do something, spontaneous like. I know that's contradictory. But tell me ahead of time when you want to drive 5 hours to the mountains. Don't tell me the night before. Because I'm the type of person who will end up leaving something behind, something important like, my ID or my toothbrush. I like to know ahead of time so I can plan everything out appropriately. And it is my right to have that desire. And I will reinforce that. So it's important to reinforce this boundary. It's not that anyone owes you anything. It's that you owe yourself the care that you probably never got in your childhood. Let me know if you like this video down below by liking and leaving a comment about your own experience with boundaries regarding time. This is a super big one, and it's important. And it's something that if you can get over it, you will save yourself a lot of pain and a lot of heartache. Sometimes people aren't trying to violate your boundaries. They just do because you allow them. But if you don't allow them, your relationships will grow and your heart will be less broken. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.